Hey everybody, welcome to my plant-based kitchen. Can't wait for you guys to come inside. Let's get busy. Hey guys, welcome back. Kimberly's Plant-Based Kitchen. We are in here today and it is all about Turkey Day, you guys. Yes, we are getting ready for Thanksgiving. We are going to be making some awesome meals today that will go perfect with your Thanksgiving dinner. So if you're going to family and you're worried about what you're going to eat or what you're going to take, if there's going to be anything for you to eat, don't worry about it. I got you covered. You're going to be able to have these meals at Thanksgiving. We're going to have 2 shows for Thanksgiving. So this is going to be our first show. We're going to do some balsamic glazed butternut squash with cranberries and apples. So delicious. And we're also going to do some garlic French green beans. So it's going to be awesome. And on our next show, we're going to do the macaroni and cheese and the dressing. So it's going to be amazing. So let's get started today. This is our butternut squash. We are going to cut and peel this and cube it up. And then we're going to also cut and cube up our apples. We're going to use our Honeycrisp apples over here. My favorite apples. Sweet, but a little tart. It's going to be amazing. We're going to use some organic dried cranberries. And we're going to use some shallot. We're going to use a little bit of shallot. We're going to season it with a little bit of Vietnamese cinnamon. We're going to use some nutmeg. So let's get started cutting this squash. I know for a lot of people, you might be intimidated just looking at the squash. Like, how do I cut it? How do I get the skin off? What do I do with this thing? And I felt exactly the same way when I first purchased a butternut squash. My grandmother used to make this, and I loved butternut squash. So if she didn't make it growing up, I didn't have it because no one else really would cook it. And then once I was older and out of the house, it took me a long time to actually cook one because I was super intimidated by it. So we're just going to cut off the tops and the bottom. And I usually like to slice mine again in the middle just to make it easy to actually maneuver with. And the skin is tough. And it's no joke, so you're just going to have to kind of work with it. But just make sure you have a good sharp knife. And now we have it in 2 pieces. It's going to make it a lot easier. Got to roll my sleeves up for this because this is serious. So now it's just going to make it easy for me just to go down the sides and just cut the skin off. And it's tough, so you're going to have to put in a little work. But it's not as bad as it seems. And then what I used to do before I actually learned how to do this, and I found out it was so easy, I used to go to Trader Joe's, and they have the butternut squash already cubed and chopped up in a bag. So if you don't feel like doing this, go buy the bag from Trader Joe's and make it easy on yourself. But I promise you, it is not as hard as it looks. This is pretty simple. So I thought that, when I first started to cut one of these and do this, I thought it would take forever, but it actually doesn't. We're almost finished here. So I'm going to cut this one down on the sides, and then we're going to take the seeds out, cube it, and we're going to cut up our apples, and this will be ready to go. So super easy, you guys, not that hard at all. So don't be intimidated by the butternut squash. Okay, and there we go. All right, got that done. Had to put in a little back work there. Let's cut this down the middle. And this one actually probably won't have seeds on this side. You see the seeds on this one. So let's flip this over. Cut it down the middle. And then we can just take a spoon and scrape this out. Super easy. So we'll just take a spoon so you guys can see. And we're just going to scrape these out. So that wasn't too hard at all. Now our butternut squash is ready to go. Let's do our other side. And this doesn't take that long to cook. We're going to put it in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to turn this oven on, let it preheat. And we're going to let this cook for about 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. Put it on bake. I'm going 350. And we're going to let that heat up. Get the rest of these seeds out. And we'll be ready to cube this up nicely. So for Thanksgiving, usually we'll have like yams, sweet potatoes, but butternut squash is so good for you. So many nutrients, and it's really delicious. So in the squash family, kind of reminds me of, I mean, you can kind of make it the same way you do your sweet potatoes or your yams. So you can actually, do the maple and do the cinnamon and nutmeg, which we're going to do today. Add your little butter. You use the vegan butter. We're not going to use any butter today. We're going to use a little avocado oil. You can use coconut oil also. Let's throw these away. Okay. And then I'll show you guys how to cube this up really quick. So yeah, you don't want to be feeling all sad about Thanksgiving because now you're plant-based, or you're trying to eat more plant-based meals if you're not fully vegan or plant-based. So you want to feel like you can still have a delicious Thanksgiving dinner without going back to eating meat or sticking with whatever your new lifestyle plan is as far as food is concerned. So now I'm just cubing this up. Super easy. Nice little cubes. Little bite-sized cubes. You don't want them to be too big. They can all kind of be the same size as much as possible, so they all cook at the same time. Okay, and we'll just kind of cut this little piece out here. Get the little stringy piece out of here. We don't need that. So yeah, now you'll be able to make these amazing dishes. Surprise your family with it. Take this to your Thanksgiving, or if you're having people over at your house, if you guys are doing buffet style and everybody's bringing something, you can bring your dishes, and you can let everybody just kind of taste and see how actually good plant food is, excuse me, because it is. So I know a lot of people who are thinking about going plant-based or vegan or just eating healthier. And when it comes to the holidays, it's always hard. Because of course there's tons of sugar, there's all the different fatty foods that you don't want to eat, but they smell super delicious. So now you'll have your own stuff that will taste amazing and smell good also. So you don't have to go back to the bad stuff. Okay, so we'll chop this up. And then we'll be able to chop up our apples. Okay guys, so I'm going to finish chopping this butternut squash up and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we have our butternut squash all cubed up. Started cubing up our apples. Just going to show you guys how you can break your apple down. So we're just going to do the same thing we did with the butternut squash. We're going to cut off the bottom, cut off the top, make it a little bit easier. And we're just going to go around with our paring knife and we're going to just take the skin right on off. And we're going to cut this core out, do a rough chop on it, and it will be ready. Go back around, make sure we get all of this off. Super simple and easy. Let's just dump this really quick. Okay. And we can core this really fast. Just cut it and go right down the middle. Take the core out on each wedge, right down the middle. And we're going to take that out. And we're going to take that out. Okay, so now we are going to just cube these up. It's a rough chop. Doesn't have to be perfect. But it is such an amazing flavor inside with the butternut squash, the pomegranate balsamic glaze. It is so delicious, you guys. We're also going to put a lot of fresh herbs in here. So we're going to put some rosemary, some parsley, some tarragon, some thyme. It's going to be so good. Smells like Thanksgiving, looks like Thanksgiving. Let's get our casserole dish to put this in. So we're going to grab this up here. And we're going to place our butternut squash and our apples in here. Okay. This is such an easy recipe to put together. And like I said, if you don't want to chop these butternut squash, just go to Trader Joe's, get a couple of the bags, and make it easy for yourself. But, I mean, it really wasn't that hard. So this was 2 Honeycrisp apples. And those are my favorite apples. You can use the apples that you like. But these are my favorite. And I've done this recipe a dozen times, so it always turns out really, really good. All right, so let's cut up some shallot because we're going to use shallot. We have 1 peeled here. And you could use a red onion in place of a shallot if for some reason you don't have a shallot. That would work perfectly fine. So we're going to use a shallot. It's a little bit milder than the regular onion. So it's going to be perfect for our butternut squash and our apples. So this is just like the perfect fall dish. A great Thanksgiving or Christmas dish, or just a wonderful dish to have on the weekend. You just feel like some delicious butternut squash. Throw this together for the family really quick. Just a nice little chop. Doesn't have to be perfect or super duper small. Just chop these up. And we're going to use all 3 of these. I'm going to make sure we have enough. So all 3 of the shallots. Okay. This is going to be so yummy. It seems like Thanksgiving came really fast this year. And it'll be nice. Pretty sure more families will be getting together since we're doing a little bit better with the pandemic. That'll be nice to be able to get together with your family, have some dinner, and bring some healthy stuff. This is the perfect time to start putting more healthy foods in your diet. Alrighty, keep our immune system up. Okay, so we have that. We're going to do some of our cranberries. So we're going to do about a 1/3 cup of cranberries. And of course, all the measurements will be in your recipe that you'll be able to download. So we'll do a little bit more. All right, can't go wrong with the cranberries. And we're going to put our glaze together now. Okay, put that to the side. We're going to put our glaze together. We're going to use some raw maple. We're going to use some pomegranate vinaigrette. And we're also going to use a little bit of this balsamic vinaigrette also. A little cinnamon, a little nutmeg. We'll use a little avocado oil. And we're going to mix all that up together. A little sea salt. It's going to be amazing. So we're going to use about a tablespoon of balsamic. And we're going to use a tablespoon of the pomegranate vinaigrette. And I don't know about you guys, but I love vinaigrettes. This one is really good. This pomegranate vinaigrette. You can eat it on ice cream. It's delicious. A little granola, some pomegranate vinaigrette. It's awesome. We're going to use a teaspoon of nutmeg. About a teaspoon. There we go. Okay. And we're going to use about a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon. And this is that really good Vietnamese cinnamon. Okay. And then we're going to use about a tablespoon of avocado oil. There we go. And about 2 tablespoons of maple. Alrighty, and then we're going to stir all this together. If you have a whisk, use your whisk. And then just make sure this is nice and blended. And then we're just going to toss our butternut squash and our apples, cranberries and shallots in this. And we'll let this cook covered in the oven for about 25, maybe 30 minutes. And about 5 minutes before it's done, we're going to chop up our fresh herbs. And we're going to put those in there and we're going to let it cook for the last 5 minutes. So the herbs are just going to take it to the next level. Okay, so now we have our glaze. And we're just going to pour this over over. And if you have some gloves, use those. And just really get in here with your hands and do it. It's a lot easier. So I'm just going to use my spoon today. Because I got my cute dress on. So I don't want to get it messed up. Cute in the kitchen today. All right. So let's just toss this up really good. I'm going to make sure it gets a nice amount of the glaze all over. And as it cooks, it's going to make its own juices. So we'll go in and we'll stir this up. Yum. It's going to be so good. Smells delicious already. I'm going to add just a tad bit more of the maple. Okay. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to put the top one. We're going to put this in the oven. We're going to set our timer for 25 minutes. And we're going to let this cook. And we're going to get started on the garlic green beans. Let's put our top on. All right. And let's get this in the oven. Be careful because it's heavy. All right. Okay, guys, we'll be right back. I'm going to get everything prepped for the green beans. Okay, guys, we're going to put together our garlic green beans. This is a super, super simple and easy recipe. It's just clean green beans, garlic, a little bit of avocado oil. We have some smoked salt, which is amazing. And it's super simple. So it's not a bunch of different ingredients. You're just going to really enjoy eating the green beans with that nice, delicious garlic flavor. Some of the smoked salt and a little bit of brown cracked pepper. And that's basically it. So, but it's absolutely delicious. So you will totally enjoy this. And I'm going to show you the correct way to make your green beans so you're not cooking all the nutrients out of them. Make sure that you're not overcooking them. So we're not going to have soggy, overcooked green beans. They'll still be firm, but they'll be tender and they won't be crunchy. They're going to be delicious, but you'll still have the nutrients so that you can definitely have some cooked vegetables and still have some nutrients in them. I know we're used to cooking our vegetables for a very, very long time because we like them nice and soft, but that way we're cooking all the vitamins out. So we want to make sure that we're keeping the minerals and everything in our vegetables. And they can still be really tasty. So let me show you how to put your garlic green beans together. In this recipe, you could do it any leafy green that you wanted to. Collards, kale, spinach. Super simple. So we're just going to crack our garlic. And we're going to use a lot because we really wanted to have that garlic flavor. So we'll probably use about 6 cloves of garlic. Yes, I love garlic. But you will too after this recipe because it is super amazing. So we're just going to peel these. And this garlic, we don't have to chop it down super small. When you're serving this, you can, leave the garlic out if you don't want to put it on the actual plate. But you want to get that rich garlic flavor. And we can leave it kind of big so it doesn't burn really easily or quickly. So let's just get the rest of this peel off of here. Got about 6 cloves of garlic. And let's chop this up. We've already cleaned our green beans, so they're ready to go. And we're just going to slice these. Slice these right on up. Okay. Leave that little top part. And slice those up. Here. Super simple. Top part out. Put that little top part out. Alright. Okay, so we got our garlic here. We have our green beans already washed and ready to go. So we're going to take a little bit of our avocado oil. And we have our pan over here ready to go. It's a little damp. Let's just wipe it out. Because we're going to put some oil in here, so I'm going to make sure that it is completely dry. gonna put a little oil on the bottom of our pan, and about maybe 2 tablespoons. So our garlic can cook, and we're gonna add our garlic first. Turn this on to like a medium heat, so it doesn't have to be really high. We're gonna add our garlic in. Okay, and let that heat up. Break that up a little bit. And then once that heats up, we're just gonna let that garlic cook for about a minute or so. And then we're gonna add our green beans straight to the pan. And we're gonna add just a smidge of water so our garlic doesn't burn and our green beans can start steaming. And we'll let those cook probably for like about 15 minutes. Oh, there's our timer. Okay, guys, we're gonna check on our garlic. It's smelling good over there. We forgot to add the ginger to our butternut squash. So I'm gonna chop some up really quick. We still have time to add it in. So let me add our green beans first. So our garlic won't burn. This is doing perfect. This is gonna sizzle up a little bit because we do have oil in here, but it'll be fine. Just don't splash your green beans in there because they're still a little wet. Some of that water can get in there though. So our garlic doesn't burn. And now we're just gonna make sure, throw this around, and we're just gonna add a little bit more water in here just to make sure that our garlic doesn't burn. A little bit of this bottled water. And this is like maybe, probably like 3 tablespoons. Okay? So we added that. We're gonna put our top on for a few minutes. Let this cook down, and then we'll add some seasoning. So once we put our top on, we're gonna turn this down to low. So we're gonna turn our fire all the way down and let that just kind of cook very slowly. Okay? Let's add a little ginger. I was like, oh my God, I know I forgot something. Don't worry though, it'll be on your recipe. So let's just add about 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped ginger. We totally need this in the recipe. It makes a huge difference. Gives it a wonderful flavor. So we have just enough time to throw our ginger in there where it will still cook down and it'll still be nice and soft. So let's get this in there really quick. Okay. And chop it up. Nice and small. We want this to be in small little pieces. So let's chop this up. Nice and small. And we can throw this in there really quick. So when you guys are cooking, you know, I'm just going off of memory sometimes. Sometimes I have my recipes and sometimes I don't. So you guys will actually have the recipe with you. So you can go down your recipe and make sure you put everything in before you put it in the oven or you start cooking whatever item you're making. Let's just chop this up just a little bit. So the pieces can be a little bit smaller. Okay. And then we'll throw this in the oven with our butternut squash and apples. Let's make sure it's a little bit smaller just so that it will cook down a little faster. Okay, so I totally forgot to put this in. Alright, it's ready. So let's just put this in there. I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to check on our green beans, and I'm going to be back to show you guys how we're going to chop up our fresh herbs for our butternut squash. Okay, guys, we're ready. We're going to cut up our herbs for our butternut squash. We have some fresh thyme, and I've got about probably 4 or 5 sprigs of thyme here. So I'm just going to go down the little twig and just kind of have those, snatch those off or pull those off. So I'm just going to pull those down, and they come off super easy. And you can just get rid of that little stick. Okay, this one. And this is really going to bring out the flavor in our butternut squash, and it's just going to add all those really nice herby flavors, and it's going to have it smelling really, really good. So don't be afraid of your herbs, especially when you're doing plant-based cooking. Get you some fresh herbs when you can. If you don't grow them yourself, you can always buy them in the grocery store. I bought these today. I forgot to actually get some herbs out of my garden, so I had to pick some up. But you can get them fresh in the grocery store, so you don't have to use the dry ones. But if that's all you have, you can actually use dry ones in place of the fresh ones when you're doing this recipe also. So dry or fresh is perfectly fine. And then this is our rosemary. So we have some fresh rosemary, and we're just going to cut this, make it easy. Use our kitchen shears. We're not going to cut the stem, we're just going to cut the leaves. Okay. So this is going to end up being about half of a cup maybe of fresh herbs. We'll just pick this off and then cut it, make it a little bit easier. But I mean, these smell so fragrant and delicious right now. I love rosemary, I love thyme. You can use these in so many different things, soups and stews. So don't be afraid to get out there and get you some fresh herbs. Basil, tarragon, sage, and all this holiday cooking, you'll be using a lot of herbs. Okay, so we can just kind of put that in there. We're going to put in our parsley. So this is our fresh parsley. So we'll just cut all this up together now. Just kind of ball that up. Nice little ball. And we'll just go in and just cut that up. It doesn't have to be super small. Just nice little pieces. So we're just going to sprinkle this all over our butternut squash and our apples with our balsamic vinaigrette. It's going to be so delicious. Yum. So if you're not used to cooking with herbs, a little bit does go a long way. So this is going to be a nice amount of herbs. And now I didn't have any fresh tarragon, so I got some dry. Like I said, you can use dry, or you can use the fresh herbs if you have it. So this is going to be our herbs that we're going to add to our butternut squash and our apples when they're finished. Let's check our green beans just to see how they're doing. They are cooking out wonderfully over here. So we're going to let these cook for a few more minutes. We're going to give these about 10 more minutes in the pan. Then we're going to add some of that delicious smoked salt. And these will be finished. So let's give these a few more minutes, guys. And we'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're going to check on our green beans. And we're going to add some of this smoked salt. Don't know if you've ever had it before, but you have to get some. It's our American blend. So we don't have it up here right now, but you can actually, I'm going to put it in the notes, put it on your recipe. You'll be able to go to the link and buy some. Smoked over oak wood. Smells amazing, and it tastes so good in your food. So we're going to put some of this smoked salt onto our green beans that are done. So this is all it needs. Smoked salt, the garlic, a little bit of avocado oil. Green beans are done. We're going to check on our butternut squash and our apples and see if that's finished. These are the perfect size for Thanksgiving, Christmas, any type of holiday like that. Let's just check on this and see where we are. I put a little foil on it just so it will cook a little faster. Smells so good. Looking good. We're going to add our herbs to this. So we have all our herbs here, nice and chopped up, ready to go. Just going to toss these in. It's going to be so delicious. And we're going to let that cook for a few more minutes, guys. Got about 5 more minutes on that. We'll be right back so we can plate everything up. Okay, guys, our butternut squash is ready. Our green beans are ready. We're going to plate this up so you guys can see how it looks. It smells absolutely amazing in here, like Thanksgiving. Let's take this out. Let me grab an extra towel over here. Alrighty, this is ready. It smells amazing. This is going to be so yummy. All right, let's close this oven. Turn this off. All right, let's take our top off. Take this foil off. Yes, yes, yes. We're gonna add a little bit of sea salt. Yum, it smells so good, you guys. Let's go over here and we're gonna plate up some of our green beans, and then we'll plate up some of this butternut squash, the apples. Whew. I am so ready. I don't know about you guys, but I think this is gonna be an amazing Thanksgiving with this new plant-based treats we'll have. Green beans are ready. I'm gonna make sure we get some of that garlic. All cooked down nicely. But the nutrients is still there. Okay. Right, looks great. Let's take our green beans over here. Got our green beans together. And we're gonna get some of this butternut squash out. Cranberries. Oh, that looks amazing, you guys. We got our cranberries, our apples, all of our delicious herbs. Wow. That looks so good. The balsamic glaze. This is going to be so yummy. So you guys will definitely have some amazing dishes to take with you to Thanksgiving, or have Thanksgiving at your house and have your family over. So excited about doing these shows for you guys. So excited about our next show. Make sure you print this out, get your list ready so you're on time and ready for your Thanksgiving dinner. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace and blessings.